friend of the show. Do you like that title?
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm going to put it on my business card from now
on. This, folks, is Joe Badal. Joe is an Albuquerque-based author. He's a businessman, management consultant, Army veteran, former state legislator. You got a resume, man, that just doesn't stop.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're as old as I am. You got to fill in the time with a lot of things.
Good to see you.
It's my pleasure. Great to be back.
So your history is in banking and financial services.
Right.
Does the Lone Wolf agenda reflect that history, or is it something totally different?
No, the previous book, Shell Game, was a financial thriller, and now I've reverted back to my espionage military thriller genre, and no, there's no finance or banking in the Lone Wolf agenda.
Okay.
To get a flavor of this, you brought along your book trailer, and I think this thing is awesome. Let's roll that video, and then we can really get the flavor of what this book is about. Let's check out. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here's the trailer. I love the helicopters. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
Well, congratulations. Book's been out, what, a couple weeks now?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lone Wolf agenda. And the first thing you do in the book is blow up the Santa Fe airport.
Oh my gosh.
Nice job. Way to go.
Yeah, I've had a couple people from Santa Fe ask me why Santa Fe, and you remember the customs agent, the female customs agent up in Washington that caught a terrorist coming across the border with his trunk loaded with explosives.
Yeah. Yes.
He was going to blow up LAX, and so I thought, I could blow up LAX in the story, but Santa Fe canceled a flight on me one time, so I thought,
payback time.
I'm paying back Santa Fe.
Very nice.
Besides, I wanted to get New Mexico into it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You kept the New Mexico feel with it. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we can definitely relate to it.
Okay, Santa Fe, you had it coming. That's what you're saying, right? All right, why not? And it just goes from there. This kind of genre it must be fun to write.
It really is, and there is so much material out there. You've heard me say before, Larry, that you don't have to make this stuff up. They just pick up the newspaper, and there's always some kind of material.
Always something.
Yeah, there really is, and the inspiration for this book was not only Bob Danforth, and I wanted to bring him back, but there was so much going on in the news about lone wolf terrorists, and of course, then just before the book comes out, there's this bombing in Boston.
Yes.
And the media and the intelligence community are talking about lone wolf terrorists, and then you add to that there was an attempt by Iranian agents to assassinate the Saudi Arabian ambassador down in Mexico, and you've got problems with our border with Mexico and drug trafficking going on, and then there's been all kinds of news lately about the United States prospectively becoming energy independent.
Right.
And I started thinking, what would OPEC's reaction be if we no longer needed to import OPEC oil?
It wouldn't be good.
And so
they would be upset.
Well, I think so, despite the fact that the OPEC, the head of OPEC from Saudi Arabia, a guy named Naimi, claims he's not worried. But I think, methinks the Dame protesteth too much. I think he is. I think they got to be concerned. And so I thought, well, what would OPEC do to try and prevent us from becoming energy independent? And the way to do that would be to disable the pipeline system. And so that's kind of what's behind this book.
Oh, so that's what they're trying to do in the book.
That's what they're trying to do.
Okay. So then Bob Danforth, that's your main character in this book. Now, tell us a little bit about that character, because it's kind of unlike other protagonists in some books.
Yeah, I got a little tired of reading books where the protagonist leaped tall buildings with a single bound, you know, Superman.
Yeah.
When a character in a book that was very successful jumped out of a helicopter over the Vatican holding 4 corners of a tarpaulin, I decided that he had lost all credibility. And I want my characters to be everyday heroes that who are confronted with a problem, and it's character that determines whether or not they confront the problem or run from the problem. And Danforth is one of these guys that will do anything to save American people and to protect his country. And despite the fact that the politicians very often are in his way in accomplishing his mission. So I think that's what differentiates Bob Danforth. He really is an everyday American who rises to the occasion when confronted with a problem.
Right. Well, sounds interesting.
Well, I hope so. I hope from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah.
Just to help our audience visualize this, if you were to do a movie and cast Bob Danforth, I think I've asked you this before, but who is that guy?
Well, I think Pierce Brosnan would be great. I think what I hope is that people think that the book is kind of autobiographical, and then they look at Pierce Brosnan and think that's what Joe Badal looks like, and doesn't quite work that way. But
one can dream, huh?
Yeah, one can dream. Yeah, I'm 68 years too late.
Now I have a question. So you've kind of had your past in politics, and it seems like in your books, politicians are always kind of the obstacle.
Right.
Is there a reason behind that?
Well, it's kind of the way it works. I mean, I didn't make that. Like I said, you don't have to make this stuff up. If you look at what's going on in Washington, and I don't mean just today, just at any time, and you've got these people that are out, whether it's military people or intelligence people in the intelligence community, that are really putting their lives on the line, and then you've got politicians that are putting up all kinds of policies and obstacles to keep them from being able to do their job, and it really is a shame. So I didn't have to make that up.
There seems to be a real dichotomy between the people that are dedicated to service, as your character is, and other people who have other agendas other than the security and well-being of the United States.
Yeah, Larry, I write fiction, but you don't have to go too far afield to realize that the fiction is really based on reality. I mean, think about it. That's the way the world seems to work. There are, I think, average Americans that are willing to do whatever it takes to do the right thing, and then there's a group that are more concerned about their own political careers or their own advancement than they are about doing the right thing. And so I guess that's kind of an underlying message without being a heavy-handed message.
Right. Now, if we have anybody watching that's interested in getting your book, how do they do that?
Well, it's available in print as well as ebook formats and a lot of ebook formats. It's not just Kindle, but Nook and so forth. I have book signings. I'm having a book signing here in Albuquerque at Bookworks on August the 4th at 3 p.m.
Okay, great.
So anybody who would like to get a signed copy can do it that way.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, everybody's got to come out and meet Joe. And tell us a little bit about the writing community here. I know you're very involved with helping young authors and other authors, and there's quite a good group of authors that work very hard here in New Mexico.
Yeah, we really have a very robust art community, and specifically on the writing side, and there are organizations like New Mexico Book Co-op, Southwest Writers, and so forth. We have the Tony Hillerman Writers Conference every year in Santa Fe. And most of the attendees, most of the members of those groups are local. And
that's great to see.
Yeah, well, with the change in the business, with more and more books going to ebook format, it's so much easier now for writers to get published. So more and more people are encouraged to write.